this and let me create a new Excel file. So it's already there. Let me check if it is still available. Automation software. So this is a test data file. I created this morning only. So let me open this and let me do some changes in the test data. Okay, so this test data file is available here, right? And here I am having a username and password field, right? So we would be doing the test only on the whatever we have been doing, that the automation practice. We will try to log in that website only using the different set of data, right? So we have 4 set of data as of now: username 1, password 1, username 2, password 2, username 3, password 3, username 4, password 4, right? So there are basically 5 rows and 2 columns, right? And this first row is your header, so which should not be which should not be considered for your data fetching, right? So we will exclude that, and we will start the retrieving of data from the row 1, right? So address of this would be it's like row 0 1, right? Because indexing starts from 0, so it would be like 1 0. The address of this would be 1 0, right, Satara? So row number 1 and column number 0. Yeah, and the address of this would be 1 1, right? So row number 1 and column number 1.
Yes.
Yeah, and for this it would be like 2 0 and 2 1. So likewise we have the address for each data, each cell data, right? Now we will see how we can create a library, the reusable library, which will fetch the data from your Excel file, right? So let's go to that class. Where is that class? Sorry. So this login page, data driven testing, and let me maximize this. And now we don't need this all code. I'll remove this code, and now instead of this, let's put a string or something, get data, and then I will write the code. So first what I have to do, I have to create the object of file class, right? So I will have to read file, right? So we have seen that, right? So how do I uh, uh, you know uh, do the file handling in Java? So I will have to create the object of file class, and here in this object I will have to pass the path of the file. So path of the file would be, I can get it from the properties of this security, and then 1 second, let's close this properties, and then so I'll get the entire path from here, and I'll pass the path of the file, and then what it is saying, I will have to add 2 backward slashes, and then file have to import it from where? Java.io, right, guys?
Yes.
And now we use file input stream to read data from file, right? Remember we have used file input stream.
Yes. Yes.
So we will create the object of file input stream, FIS equal to new file input stream, and here we will pass the file, and this also needs to be included from imported from file input stream, and then this will give you a file not found exception, and that you have to handle it using throws keyword, right? So until here it is fine, right? So I am just fetching the file, and then I am creating the object of file input stream. Now the each sheet of that is called a workbook. I mean, after that I will start this reading the data on the sheet wise. So first is your workbook, right? So this is your workbook, right? XLS is your workbook. So I'll create the object of workbook. WB equal to workbook dot workbook factory dot create, and this will create a, I'll pass FIS here, and workbook needs to be included from org apache poi ss user model. And then next is your sheet. So sheet name is workbook dot get sheet, and then the sheet name would be I'll give the Excel sheet name. Okay, and then Excel sheet name is here. Then once I reach to the sheet, then I will get the number of rows and number of columns. Okay, so this is giving you error because I don't have the sheet name, so I'll pass the sheet name just in a while. So sheet name dot get rows, and then so sheet name dot get last row number. So this will give you the last row number. So last row number would be 4, right? Or 5 would be 5, and which I will store in int total rows, and then I'll print the total number of rows here. So we will check if it is working fine. Total rows, and then next would be sheet name dot get last, okay, sheet name dot get row, and row number is 0. So this will give you the total number of columns. So int total columns. Not columns. This will give you sheet name dot get row will give you 0 based if you ask for a row there. So this is giving you row cells. Okay, and why it is giving you error? Cannot convert from row to int. Okay. This is a standard library, guys. You will have to practice it once or twice, and then only you will be able to recall. Anyways, no one asks you to write the code in your interview, but whenever you need to create your data driven testing, then you need to write this code. Okay, so I mean, it's not necessary to remember this code, but you should be able to do whenever it is required. So next is your total columns count equal to row cells dot get last column. Get last column, last cell number. Okay, and then next is your total columns. So this is how we are getting the total columns. Okay, next is your we will have to use object of data formatter, right? So to format your data formatter, format equal to new data formatter, and this we have to import from SS user model, and then is your we will have to use two for loop, right? So we used to use two for loop, right, to iterate over 2D array. One is for row and second one is for column. Yeah, so we will use two for loop. First loop would be for row starting from int I equal to 1, because we will have to skip the row number 0, which is the header, and it will go up to the total number of rows, and then I plus plus, and for each row I will have to iterate this again of total number of columns. So that will be int j equal to 0, j less than total columns, and then j plus plus. And then what I will do, I will use the format object to get the cell value. So format dot format cell value, format dot format cell value, and then here the sheet name dot get row. Here the row name would be I dot get cell. Column name would be J, and this I have to store in a 2D type of test data, which is I minus 1 and J is J. And this test data I will have to create a string variable, string test data equal to new string, and here total rows and total columns. And then let's try this if we are what is this issue, the test data, and then let's print that if we are able to get the data or not. So what I will do, test data I minus 1 and then J. So for okay, and then let's put that in a let's try this using static void main, if we are able to read the data or not. String args. Okay, and let's remove this as now. and in Excel sheet name, what is the sheet name we have? Login test. Okay, so let's run this and see.